Hey, welcome back to the Hesitant Homesteader. It's time to start seeds, and so we are going to walk you through a couple of different ways that you can go about starting seeds indoors, because Joanna and Chuck are going to go about this a different way than what we are. So we're going to show you both methods.
So this year we decided to try something new. This is a new little toy called a soil blocker. I got tired of filling all those little cups and the little pods, and I watched, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 videos, something like that on these. There's different sizes. We chose one that is the medium size. They have several sizes to pick from based on what your plant you're going to plant. But middle size, thought that would accommodate most of what we want. The principle behind it is you take a pile of dirt and you take this and wiggle it back and forth into the dirt, and then these compartments get filled with that dirt, and then you put that into your tray and you pull down like that, and then that actually moves these in and out, and there's already a little dimple that is made into the block for your seed. So you can see we've already tried it and I really like it.
We're kind of kicking ourselves for not doing it sooner, because we got I think it's going to save us a lot of time.
It was just from what we've tried so far, it's definitely
a lot faster.
Way faster. I like the size of the block, and it fits in the tray nicely, height-wise, with the tray that we got. So I think time will tell, but I think it's going to really work out and save us a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. Joanna and Chuck are going to show you the method that they're using as well, so that you'll be able to make the decision as to what you think is going to work best for your family and your household. But there's all different ways that people start their seeds inside. I see your hands.
You don't get it all over.
You should lick them off.
No. There. I made one just like those.
Not quite.
Dad, can I make one?
So we use just a organic potting soil. There may be better methods, but this was, I guess, what was easy for us, and we like the organic. Try to do as much of that as possible. So I've already added some water to this, because it is recommended that when you add the water that you leave it set for a little bit before you start to mix it. It'll just help it absorb into that soil, make it easier. So what I'm trying to get the consistency to is when I put it in my hands and squeeze, you want to see that water just coming out between your fingers. And it looks like we are about there. I might do a little bit more. Okay, so then once you get it to the consistency that you like, you'll take your soil blocker and you just want to wiggle it back and forth and force that soil into those cavities. And then once you get that all full, I take it and just kind of drag it on the bottom a little bit just to square that off. And then we'll bring this over into our tray. And you squeeze and lift that up. And there's your soil block. You see the little dimple there, that's where you put your seed. Put these back so my wife doesn't yell at me. And that's it. So you put your seed in there, you close it up, and you're done.
So what we're doing is a little bit different than my sister Jenna. So I'll let you kind of tell them what we're.
Okay, sure. So like Joanna said, it's our first garden, and maybe you saw some of the previous videos of how I laid the garden out. We had a great garden discussion, like tips and stuff with Jenna and Ben for first-time gardeners, some things to think about. And so we're starting small. That was one of the tips, so you don't get overwhelmed. So all we are going to be doing is about maybe like 10 or 12 different types of plants. But right now it's about the first week of April, and this is time for us to start some seeds indoors. You don't have to start indoors. A lot of plants you can direct sow, but a lot of that depends on what climate zone you're in. So we're in zone 6A here in the northern part of Ohio, and so there's definitely some things that we want to get started early, and that's what we're going to do today. So we have tomatoes and some bell peppers and sugar snap peas and cauliflower that we're going to be getting those plants started today. And we chose, we've gotten seeds from other places and we had good intentions and we never actually planted them. But this year, so we got some fresh seeds this year, and I went with Peaceful Valley, which is at groworganic.com. I liked their website. I thought they had a nice variety of things and they had a lot of resources on their website. They made it very simple. A lot of places I went, a lot of YouTube videos, I thought really overcomplicated it, and it was very intimidating. And so for somebody like us, where this is our first garden, it just seemed overwhelming. And they made it very simple. So that's what I would recommend. What we are going to do is we've got our seed trays. I just didn't do anything fancy. We picked these up at a home improvement store. We're using a seed starting blend that we bought. You can certainly make your own if you get to that level. Again, we're beginners, and hopefully a lot of you are going to be encouraged to do the same thing. So just start with the simplest basic stuff. We're also doing this really low budget, and I did not go out and buy expensive grow lights. That can get very complicated. T5s, T8s, T12s, fluorescent, compact fluorescent, sodium metal halide, all that stuff. I'm using some LED shop lights. I'm gonna test this out. A lot of places discourage it because they don't feel it's necessarily the exact right type of light. But based on what I've seen, I think these shop lights are gonna work. They were much cheaper than grow lights. So in general, you want to have a minimum of 3,000 lumens of intensity, and you wanna have a color, which is measured in kelvins, of at least 5,000 Kelvin. So these shop lights happen to be 3,500 lumens and 5,000 Kelvin. So I'm gonna give it a go. Our house faces south. We get tons of natural light. We also have a sunroom that's got floor to ceiling windows that face the south and the west. We're gonna get flooded with light. So we're gonna supplement with these shop lights. So if they're not perfect, I'm not really gonna be too worried about it because we're only gonna turn them on for probably 2 to 3 hours before the sun comes up and keep them on for 2 to 3 hours after the sun goes down to have that optimal 14 to 16 hours of light for the plants to grow healthy. Because if you don't have that, they get really spindly and tall, they reach for the sunlight. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm using shop lights, which are a lot less, and I just took some scrap materials I had, some lumber, and I made a little grow light stand. And we can show you that here in a minute. So our seed trays are all filled. We just pre-moistened the potting soil, spread it in there, and then we're just gonna follow the instructions on the seed packets. So most of them have this. This is nice how these are laid out. Right along the top edge, it tells you the soil depth, like the planting depth for the seed. It'll tell you the days to germination, days to harvest, all of that type of deal. So the only thing we're concerned about right now is the planting depth. And so we're gonna just do one row of each is gonna be enough for us.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do 2 per hole, and then what you're gonna do is see how well they germinate. So that's why you do 2 to improve your odds of germination. And then once your plants germinate and they sprout, once they get their second set of leaves, that's the true leaves, and at that point they're big enough that you can thin them. So if you are really good, if you're lucky and you get, a lot of the cells with multiple plants in it, like both seeds grow and germinate, you'll have to go through and like with little tweezers or your fingers and just pick the healthiest one. You're gonna get rid of the other one. Alright, so we're all done. Got our seedlings in their little trays planted. I just wanted to wrap up just to kind of show you more of our setup. So these are the shop lights, the LED shop lights I was telling you about. Got 2 of those. I think they were like $14 a piece. If they don't work, I can always put them in my shop. And then I just had some scrap lumber, like I said, and I made a very simple little stand. And all I did is I took and I drilled holes through the 2x4s, and I put I did buy these. This is just aluminum hollow tubing, and I just used a hacksaw and just sawed through those and just let them sit on here. And I did a couple of heights. This is too high. This bottom height, actually the lights will be down like this, because you really want the lighting to be like 2 or 3 inches above your seedlings. But this is our sunroom area, so you can see there's tons of light that is in here, floor to ceiling. This is south, so this is just going to supplement it, and we'll put these either on a timer or I'll just get up early and hit them. I've got a thermometer in here, so they're not going to go in here right now. Like it's probably 42 degrees outside and it's almost 60 degrees in here right now. Because this is part of our house. I have a sliding patio door over here that I don't heat this, but if I want to, I can slide that door open and bring more of our warm air in from the house. So this is not where they're going to be for right now. I'm actually going to put these in the front window of our house, which also faces south, because our house, I'm going to use the warmth of our house, which is at 70 degrees plus, to let these seeds germinate. And then once they get going, I'll move them out here as the temperatures increase. So I'll bring this whole cart. It's mobile. This is just one of those Metro shelving carts with caster wheels. And I'll just roll this into the front window, and then when things get better out here, I'll roll it out here.
Spring is coming.
Yeah. So good luck. Hope you guys start a garden. Don't be intimidated by it. Do some research, but don't get overwhelmed by it. I think the biggest thing that we've learned, like whether it's having chickens or just anything we haven't done, just get your hands dirty and learn as you go.
And keep it simple. So there's no better time to start a garden than now.